Hello, everyone, and welcome to another mini jam from CinemaJam. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Apple TV series called Widow's Bay, created for the TV by Katie DePolt and starring Matthew Rhys, Kate O'Flynn, Kevin Carroll, and Dale Dickey. So Widow's Bay came out in premiere in April 29 from 2026. And from the start, you could tell that there was something special about this TV series. It is a horror TV series, but with a lot of dark humor in between, like very dry humor. You have to sometimes look for it because it hides its jokes in plain sight. It's not looking at the camera. And you see what I did there? No, they are hiding a lot of humor, and you have to find it. And if you like that type of humor, like very dry, very serious, in your face, you can enjoy it. Especially because Matthew Rhys does a great job as being the straight man that he's the mayor of a small Iceland town. Basically, a lot of people compare it like, okay, what if the mayor of Jaws, the Steven Spielberg movie, was what if we follow him and sympathize with what the decisions that he have to make because he's trying to make life better for people in the island, but there is something weird happening in the island. In this case, it's obviously haunted, and there is like a curse to the people in the island. And when they start, and he doesn't believe it, but he knows it's there because something happened to his wife, and people that are born in the island cannot actually leave the island. So there is that's part of the course, and especially the family of the founders of the island. They have a contract. This is something that we find out basically, I think, in episode 6. So if you start watching it, keep at it, because at the beginning it feels more like a monster of the week, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or Smallville, for example. That there was basically a monster of the week, but they started at the beginning, like in the first 3 or 4 episodes, they start seeding you with what is going to happen at the end. So it's very enjoyable as well as a binge series. But the way Apple presented it, releasing it once a week, it was actually also good because it kept you hooked. You get resolve of that monster of the week. You get that resolution of the monster of the week, but they leave something in there for you to chew on until next week. And I really enjoyed that process, and able to talk to people that were also following the series. I think it was a great. This is a perfect coffee break series or water cooler series, like in the old traditional of Game of Thrones or Seinfeld or something like that. So I don't want to say a lot of things about the monsters of the week. I just want to say that some cameos are pretty good. We get a Betty Gilpin a cameo, and she's the new wife of one of the founders of this colony, 1700s. She's married to Hamish Linklater, who's playing Richard Warren, that founder of Widow's Bay, and you may recognize him as one of the or the main character in Midnight Mass, and one of the best horror TV series that I have ever seen. A TV series I love, actually. My co-host from the main podcast, he loves as well. He really liked it as well. It's a Netflix production. And there are many cameos that appear like that. They appear for one episode and leave you a very good image. So the thing about it is that, as I mentioned, these are monster of the week. So in 1 week, there is this menace of a fog that is happening in the town. There is also like a ghost in a hotel. There is like a sea hack, they call it in the show, that appears, and it seems to be following Tom, that is the character played by Matthew Rhys. There is a beautiful and terrifying episode with Patricia, played by Kate O'Flynn, that she's like the assistant of Tom, and she has a whole episode to her, and the things that are happening around her are incredible because she has a huge past related to a serial killer that happened in the island as well, and some people don't believe her that this serial killer was after her when she was younger. And there are many things that happen in this episode that are very interesting because there is witchcraft and things like that you don't expect it, and you find out only at the end. And it was one of the best episodes. The director of X, Pearl and Maxine, and we see a resolution about the basically a zombie that is happening in the town. It's just great. There is a lot of elements. There is like most of the things that you can think of happen in this town, like every type of monster that you can think about it. Like they mentioned like a werewolf, like in one of the, I think actually in the last episode, one of the characters mentioned that one of his boyfriends became a werewolf basically, and she just mentioned it like offhand, like a comment there. So that's the humor that you find in this TV series, and that's why I like it. It's well produced, well directed, the acting is great. I really hope that more people see it. It is actually one of the hits of the year. It's probably going to become one of the most seen, and it's going to receive a bunch of awards at the end of the year because I haven't heard negative comments about it. There are probably some, but most of the comments I have heard about the TV series are positive. So that's Widow's Bay in Apple TV Plus. Until next time, keep jamming about movies.